Welcome to the Jazz Flyte Podcast. I'm your host, Darrell Scott, and together we will dive into the lives and careers of the jazz legends who have left a rhythmic imprint on the world. Be prepared to reminisce on the highs and the lows of their musical journey and the trials that sculpted their timeless musical gems. We'll preserve the legacy of these extraordinary maestros and find inspiration in the melodies of their lives. Subscribe now and never miss a beat. Now, let's get to the show. Welcome to the Jazz Flyte Podcast. This is a special edition. I'm actually going to have a lot of fun with these two lovely young ladies. They're supposed to laugh at that, but they won't. This is about Mother's Day. So we found a mother and daughter who are both in the music world, one who is just beginning, the other one who has been here for a while. So once again, ladies, happy Mother's Day to you. Welcome Pamela Williams, the Saxtress, and her daughter, Dai Skyy. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi.
Not a problem. So my first question, and I debated this whole time who to start with. Do you start with the daughter? Do you start with the mother? What do you do? So Pam, you're going to go first.
Okay.
While as Dai is growing up, and we'll talk about the younger preteen stuff, and you're playing, what did you imagine that she would do? Did she appear to have any aspirations at that young age?
Oh, yeah. And she's been singing. You know, I always tell the story. I realized she could sing when she was 2. And I was in the kitchen one day doing the dishes, and I used to always put on the Wizard of Oz movie. And she loved the Wizard of Oz because of all the singing and the songs. And so I heard another voice singing along with Dorothy. And it's a part of the movie, like at the end, it's like the special edition where they do this little video at the end and they sing this jitterbug song. And so it's a lot of scatting, it's very jazzy, and I hear scatting and I'm like, wait a minute, let me turn off the water. So I turn off the water and I hear her voice, and she couldn't really pronounce all the words because she's only 2, but she could sing the notes. So she's basically scatting along. And I said, she's really hitting the notes. There's something here, I think. And so she just always loved to sing. Just was always just natural, just singing. Anytime some songs came on, she could pick it up really fast. And just had that musical inclination. So as a teenager, she was interested in playing different instruments. And so she didn't want to do the saxophone or any of the woodwinds, which I thought she should play because right. Yeah, I was like, I teach you something about it. But I play a little bit of piano too. So she did study piano a little bit. And I think I ended up getting her a violin, which she tried it for a while. Sometimes I know you have to try things to see if that's your instrument. And so, but singing was always there. It was always natural. It was always something that came easy to her. And she, she always had it.
So Dai, was it watching your mother play? Was it just listening to the music she was playing in the house? What moved you toward, we'll just call it musical entertainment?
I would say overall everything within our household, like listening to her play and watch her in the studio, because growing up I would always just be in the studio sitting in the background, either listening or watching. And also the music as well that I grew up on was always like either jazz or some type of variant of R&B, old school. So it really influences the way that I even sound when I sing. So I would say a combination of both, which all stem from her, of course.
Yes, we must make mom look good in this interview.
Yes.
So Dai, when did you realize what your mother was doing? I mean, all of a sudden, as you're sitting in the studio, you're like, oh, this is a fun place to sit and do homework, and I got music to listen to. Or was it, I really want to do this. This sounds really interesting. I want to go from there.
feel like it's a really hard question because I mean, it was probably really young where like, I mean, at first it was like a really fun place to be, is of course around your mother making music, but then you start eventually seeing like, because I would listen to like the Jackson 5 and like sing songs like Ben, which I did for my talent show. And when I felt that feeling of being in the studio with her, I wanted to be in the studio. Like the passion it feels like it's always been there. So it wasn't really like a fun place. It was a thing that I wanted to do.
Okay, I have two questions. One is just going to verify ages. Ben and the Jackson 5? What the Jackson 5 had this guy in it named Michael Jackson, right? Okay. When you're in the studio with your mom, was there ever, and Pam, you can jump in on this, was there ever a want to go in there and kind of sing with her, to be performing standing right next to her? Did she let you do that?
Yeah, there was actually a time where I don't think she kept it on there, but when I was little, she was recording one of the albums for one of her featuring artists. And I just wanted to be in the background somewhere so bad. And I remember that was like one of my first studio experiences. And from there, it was like an adrenaline rush. And I just always wanted to be in the studio. Like I was ready.
Nice.
Yeah. And then sometimes I take a break on something that I was working on and she'd get on a microphone and I just hit record. And so, I would have the session already pulled up. So I'd play some music, background music, and she'd sing on top of it. And some of it, I actually have a lot of the stuff. I have a lot of video footage of her singing in the studio. So I'm glad I was able to get some of that stuff.
Is there anything on a non-released track that we might be able to bribe you to send out so we can hear her at an early age?
Oh yeah, actually, yes, I have a lot of stuff. So, and recently I found a whole bunch of videos and I put them all in one folder, and I was just sitting there laughing, and it's just I love having videos, so because it takes you all the way back to that time, and the laughter and the joy, and now to see her there, from there to where she's come to now is just really, it's really amazing to be able to see that. Because I have that performance when she did at her school when she did Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And she was I remember I was actually coming from a gig. It was the day of her show in Cleveland. As a matter of fact, in Cleveland, when she was in elementary school in Cleveland. I know you're looking like, I can't believe you were there. And so we're on the road and we're rushing back, and one teachers called and said, "Hey, is she, you guys are going to make it back in time because she's, going on last." And so she looks over. She was like, "Mom, does that mean I'm the headliner of the talent show?"
Nice.
I was like, "Yeah, she's a showbiz kid." I said, "Actually, yes, you are technically the headliner." And so we got there, and she went on, and I remember being just as nervous as if it were me on stage, because I'm sitting right up front and center. And I'm there, and I'm like, it's okay. If you miss some of the words, just keep going, because that happens on stage. My fingers may slide off the keys or whatever, and you just have those bloopers. I said, just don't even, don't even pay attention to the fact that you may have missed something. Just keep going. And by the end of the song, everybody was on their feet and they all stood up. She got a standing ovation. So I'm in tears the whole time. So
what elementary school is this?
It's Oxford Elementary. Yeah. I still talk to one of my teachers from
Cleveland Heights?
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland Heights, yes. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Cleveland Heights.
I know exactly where that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't say that I lived 10 minutes from there, but I lived 10
Oh,
minutes
no.
from there.
Please don't tell me.
Yeah.
We were in
the same neighborhood. Pam, when she's doing all of this and seems like she's going toward music, are you empowering her? Are you trying to hold her back and go, maybe you need to look at law or engineering or anything like that? Or are you promoting, let's do music?
I think pretty much promoting let's do music. Also, let's have something else to fall back. Well, I don't want to say fall back on, because something else may be more of more interest to her. Like she may want to pursue something else, being a doctor. I love that she's in school for being a lawyer. Sometimes that may be someone's main objective, and music may be something that they want to do on the side, or vice versa. And so I didn't want to discourage her from pursuing music or from having an education, because I also went to, while I was doing music, I was in college as well. And I remember my mother calling me and saying, when are you going to get once I started doing it full time, she's like, when are you going to get a real job? Yeah. When are you going to, and this happened like well into my career. Hey, when are you going to get a real job? And I'm like, Mom, this is a real job, actually. It's harder sometimes in a real job because I'm working 24/7. But yeah, I never wanted to discourage her, because, how would I do that? Because the same thing happened with me with my mother. She was always saying, well, have something else to fall back on. And I think that that's smart for musicians as well. I think you should always have something else that you can do, because there are times when you're not going to have shows and the gigs aren't happening. You got to figure out another way to pay your bills. And so for me, I've been fortunate enough to be an artist, a visual artist. So when my gigs weren't happening, and even to this day, when I don't have gigs, I'm like, okay, I'm painting. That's my other job. So,
Dai, as you begin to hang around your mother and see all this performance that she's doing, are you getting hyped up, excited about the other musicians that she's playing with, and the excitement that would create?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm always like hearing stories and things from even like back in the day and even now, where I'm like, it's always shocking to hear like the people that she's playing with. It's always like, I'm like, I want to go, I want to see, I want to, like, I'm always hyped to see and be there.
Now, did that help you wanting to continue or better yourself as a musician, as a singer and songwriter?
Oh yeah, because being around these people that are like, of course, excelled in music, it inspired me to like advance even more. So like studying like music theory and stuff that I'm doing now, because I want to be able to like talk technical to these big professional people that my mom speak to, and I want to be able to hear the language and understand it too. So it really does inspire a lot of things about music with me.
Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is this new single you have out. And actually, I want to play a part of it first. So ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of a premiere. It's been out a little while now. This is Dai Skyy, and It's Too Late on the Jazz Flyte Podcast.
And it's too late, baby, now it's too late. Oh, we really did try to make it. Something inside has died, and I can't hide, and I just can't fake it.
That is It's Too Late by Dai Skyy, daughter of Pamela Williams, wishing them both a happy Mother's Day. So, Pam, how did we decide on It's Too Late? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a classic. And it's almost like if you do one thing wrong, it might hinder you. Don't get me wrong, y'all folks heard it. Ain't nothing wrong with this song. It's really good. But how did we determine that would be her first single?
I think we were just one of those times in the studio, just listening to some old songs, and it was always a song that I liked doing. I think years ago too, I had played it on a demo, and because it had such a cool groove, it already had that jazzy flavor to it. It had the saxophone solo, and I think that it's always good for somebody new to come out with a song that everyone knows, because it's easier if they already know the song. That's going to attract an audience to you, and then to do a cover of such a big classic song, I think it was a good choice for new artists. And then she did such a good job on it. And of course, you're right. The challenge is to take the song and make it different and modern, but then not veer too far away from the original.
Right.
Yeah. And so it was, I think we were just playing around. She was in here probably singing, and I played it for her, and she was singing along, and I'm thinking, let's record it. Why not? Let's just do it. She was actually still in high school when we started it. And then of course when the pandemic happened, everything just kind of got crazy when everything shut down. So, we were in a whole nother mind space at that point, but it was always on my computer, and I'm like, we're going to finish this. And so we decided to finish it and put it out.
So Dai, why did you like the song? Why did you choose that song?
Well, I'm a huge sucker for like songwriting. Like I love like especially songs such as like It's Too Late, because the technical like aspects of it, and also it's just overall a really good song. When I heard it and I heard the rendition like being made, I was like, oh yeah, this is a good song. Like let me also just love songs in general where it's like has a sorrow aspect to it, because I'm a huge poet. So I love like romanticism in that way. And the song just captures that essence perfectly. So I was like, I love this song.
So I also now hear a career as a poet and maybe doing some spoken word. Just trying to help out, just trying to give you more revenue streams.
Yeah, she's a good writer. I've heard some of the stuff that she's recorded just at home, when she's not in school, just recording around her apartment. And I'm like, just put it on the recording. We'll add music to it later.
So how did, I kind of want to turn your mom's mic and headphones off right now. Why did you choose your mom to do the sax solo? Or did she say, I'm going to do it?
Like a default, it's like we're a daughter. It's a mother-daughter. Also, I just honestly, anytime she's my favorite saxophonist, and that's not just because she's my, but like she has a flavor that no one else really has. So who else would I have chosen? Like that's my mom. Like I love her.
Perfect answer. So in all this time that now you're recording, you're in the studio, you're doing this, what have you learned from your mother that you now apply to yourself?
That's a lot of things. I would say as just putting the effort to finish things and also learn. Because I will say, when I was growing up, I was kind of like a know-it-all. So I'd be like, oh, okay, I can do this by myself. And like when she would try to teach me, I would be like, I can learn by myself. But now like taking in that information, even within my classes, because I take these musical classes, I can hear her echoing in my head sometimes being like, see this, and like things that she's taught me, I already know. And these like bases of like reading music, or even elements of like transposing like that I've been working on recently, I can just hear her. So it's such a vast thing that I can't even categorize it, because there's so many things that she has taught me that echoes when it's like deja vu, like every day when I'm in music classes. So
let me tell you this, that voice is never going to go away. It won't. It will always be there. No matter what you do, there's something that all of a sudden you hear this voice and it says something and you're like, oh, that's mom. She's not in the room, she's not in the state, she's not in the country, but she will have an effect on you. So Pam, from the other side, what are you learning from her, and how are you treating her? Are you rough on her? Are you being more technical? You need to go back and do this, or is it you're fine, fly with your own wings?
That's a good question, because I think I'm rough in the studio. I'm going to say that, and only because rough in a good way, because I know that I'm like that on myself, and I know when it's all said and done at the end, when that recording comes out and you listen to it, I want her to be able to smile and say it was worth the the roughness in the studio, because I think that, and also I have to let her be the singer that she is, and I think that's a good producer, being able to let the artist be who they are, and respecting that, but also when there needs to be corrections in some areas, or there's some guidance and some, like I might say, well, why don't you try singing it this way, or if while we're doing that song, I'll say, well, let me hear how you would just do it without me giving you any direction. And then sometimes it works that way. But then there's that balance of letting the artist be who they are, but then also saying, hey, I think you can try it this way, or maybe do this a little bit better, and then giving that push. But at the end of it, you want that recording to be pristine when it's all said and done. So, everyone, when I'm in the studio, I could look over at her and she's like, I'm ready to get out of here. This is going on for too long. I want to go watch TV. I've got other stuff to do. But she hung in there. And I think that at the end of it, it was all worth it when you hear the recording. Because I'm tough on myself. So I'm kind of like that in the studio. But
okay. All right. Before we go on, we're going to take a little bit of a listen to something from Pamela Williams, Saxtress. This is called Stone Cold on the Jazz Flyte Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Stone Cold from the Saxtress Pamela Williams. This is a Mother's Day edition of the Jazz Flyte Podcast featuring Pamela Williams and her daughter Dai Skyy, who also has a new single out called It's Too Late. Where are you going to go after this, Dai? Will there be another collaborative effort between the two of you? Are you going to do, at some point, are we going to have a Dai Skyy single, Dai Skyy CD? What's next we'll go with you first.
I would say, because I'm already, since the single came out, my excitement has been like through the roof. So I'm like, the potential of things that I could do just kind of opened up, where I'm just writing songs almost daily. Like I'll just be like washing dishes, or I'll wake up from a nap and be like, oh, that is a good song. So it's really endless. And I definitely want to do it with my mother as the producer. But I'm hoping, there's going to be a lot more from Dai Skyy and Pamela Williams.
Do your fellow classmates pick up your music, listen to your music, critique your music, love your music? How's it? I can't imagine being your age in a large environment that you can't get rid of these people. You can't go take private lessons. You walk into one class and there's, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, and I'll go, she got a new single out, she got a song out, we got to listen to it. How are you dealing with that pressure?
It's really strange, because I mean, when I walk around, of course, like people are like, I get a few teases and stuff where they'll start singing it, but I have private lessons also where I can just like, it's still going on as we speak, where I'll just like leave one of my practice rooms and then people are like, how's the single going? And even at the store where I usually like get my bass checked, or I check out other new basses that I want to try out, they're like, how's everything going? And the little bit of like people noticing who I am, it is kind of like nerve-wracking, but I'm hoping to grow into it and feel a little better about it. But it is exciting still, though, like having all these people listen to my song and my voice and like give me critique or like ideas, because of all my fellow musicians in this section.
Want to move back home with mom and avoid all of that?
No.
Okay. You don't have to answer that question.
Okay. No, you can say no. I was 21 when I moved out. I was like, hey, no more rules. Nobody telling me what to do, and I'm on my own, and I get it.
And Pam, from your standpoint, what's next for the two of you? More music? You're producing more. You're going to win a Grammy for producing her album. What's up?
I know, wouldn't that be wonderful? Let me visualize it.
Put it out there.
I'm going to put it out there. I would like us to do more stuff in the future. I have a bunch of people started sending me songs. It's really strange. Like everyone started sending me songs all at the same time. Like every day I check my email and there's new songs. So what I'm doing now is collaborating with other people on possibly putting them out there as well. And so I'm going to be doing that, working on some more stuff for myself. And I think that it's, in the future, I want to get some of the songs that she has on her recordings with her just singing and add music to it, and maybe pursue that a little bit more too.
What is this dynamic like? I mean, it's mother-daughter, it's her input, your input, overall input. Is one of you more in charge than the other?
Who's answering? Who's answering that one?
I saw that.
I'm like, because like, of course, like my mother's been in the industry longer and she knows how music works. Obviously, I feel like she would be more in charge, but she also allows me room to be able to say what I like, what my opinions are on music. And it's always been like that. Like she'll be like, does this sound better? Or does this sound better? So it makes me feel less of like separated, but more a part of the project. And that's what I like about working with her, is that she allows my like opinions to matter in the studio. So it doesn't really feel like a power dynamic of any sort. It just feels like a collaborative team. And that's what I like about working.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's a good answer, sweetheart. But yeah, that's a good one, because even when I'm doing my stuff, I'm so indecisive about everything that I'm doing, and then my ears get shot. So I always ask everybody else's opinion when I'm even recording sax stuff, because at some point I'm like, I need somebody else's ears. And so I do value outside opinions. And once you hear stuff over and over and over again from being in the studio, you're not really sure, you know what I mean? You just need those other people to give you that input. So
you can always call me. I'll listen.
Okay, I will. I'm gonna remember that.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. Like, hey, what do you think about this? That's what I went through last week. I was driving myself crazy because I knew the single was coming out, and I just wanted everything to be right. I mean, because of time purposes, I had to really mix the song myself, and I didn't really have a chance to like send it out to an engineer or anything like that. And I've mixed a lot of my own music in the past from some of my CDs, so I knew I was able to do it. But it's still that once you finish everything and you got that mix, you just wanted to go to the next level to have it sound right. And so I was just going back and forth, and I had 10 different masters, and I'm like, which one? So I was a wreck last week, but I'm more calm this week. My chi is back.
I'm looking to see if you're shaking your head and agreeing. And she's not. She's just smiling. So every now and then, you just you got to check on it, and I get it. This has been a lot of fun, and I understand the dynamic, and it's a little tough because, like I said, I don't want to step on anybody's toes or get into all the relationships and everything. But it's more or less the process of, here I have somebody who's done this for X amount of years. I'm going to not say how many, and I'm a newbie at this, but I want my own voice. I want to be able to do what I want to do, and I hope you agree with it. This has been fun. This has been very interesting. Ladies, I greatly appreciate it. Once again, have a great and happy Mother's Day.
Thank
we
you.
will continue to play the single. We will wait for the new single from Mom. And then we'll see maybe if we can somehow get them both on the charts at the same time. That would be interesting. That would be really interesting if you could get both songs on the charts at the same time. Man,
that would be really awesome.
We'll see what we can do about that. Ladies, once again, thank you. This has been
thank
great.
You for having us.
Not a problem. It was fun. When I saw the release of the video, I'm like, yeah, good looks running the family, man. And then I played the song and I listened to it like 3 or 4 times, and then it kind of hit me that, well, this is really good. She can sing. She can do this. So the hope, once again, like I said, it'd be great to get both of your songs on the chart at the same time. Not that I put pressure on anybody that I ever interview. But the other neat thing would be, Dai, if you opened up for your mother while she was on concert.
Oh, yeah. Actually, we have a show together coming up at one of the wineries out here in Temecula in California. And she's going to be my special guest. And that's going to be in July.
Nice.
And yeah.
It's a winery?
So it's a winery, yes.
Make sure she ain't got a glass in her hand.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But she did just make it 21, so.
Well,
But yeah.
can you see her? Pam, can you see your daughter on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
She just must not be paying any attention to you. And I see all these things. I appreciate it, ladies. Let's stay in touch. Keep the music coming.
Okay,
I'm very serious. If you got something that you need somebody to listen to, just let me know. I'm here.
Okay.
And somebody else brought your name up today, which we'll get into in a minute. That's it for this Mother's Day edition of the Jazz Flyte Podcast. I appreciate you all. Join us next week for another episode. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to the Jazz Flyte Podcast. I hope you enjoy these stories and soulful melodies that grew through the doors of time. If you want to stay connected with the latest updates and episodes, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Until next time, I'm Darrell Scott.